Hey guys, Suzanne here. Today I'm going to talk to you about goat yoga and how I made goat yoga work for our farm. I've got a helper with me. This is Moira. She's only 3 days old and she was rejected by her mom. So we've had her on the bottle pretty much since the day she was born. Scoot my mat back a little bit. Okay, so I wrote down some notes so that I would not forget the things that I felt were important to making this successful. So the first thing I wanted to lay out there is the case for goat yoga. So a lot of people don't get it, and that's perfectly fine. A lot of the people that don't get it are older generation, tend to be male, but not always male. We do have a few men in every class, and they kind of poo-poo goat yoga and talk about how stupid it is. My case for goat yoga is that it's something that makes people really genuinely happy. It makes women really genuinely happy, and a lot of men, it also makes them happy. No one seems to poo-poo going to the gun range and shooting guns for no reason, or playing really violent video games. That's cool, and that's one of the problems in the society that we live in, the world that we live in today, is that often things that are revolved around sex, drugs, and violence are cool, and things that are seen as innocent and playful and wonderful and happy, these things aren't cool. So we have a lot of people that have those qualities that will shy away from the things that makes them happy, because society is telling them the things that need to make them happy. The things that are cool are things that are centered on sex, drugs, and violence. So I know that's pretty, I don't know that I want to say deep to start with the conversation, but that is how I wanted to start the conversation. Goat yoga is something that is playful, innocent, happy, and everyone's happy, the goats are happy, the people are happy. So here are a couple of clips from some of our classes we had. So, do you want to start your own goat yoga? Here are some of the things that I believe have made our goat yoga successful. Don't try to do it all. So, you're not a yoga instructor unless you are. If you're just a farmer that has goats, you're not a yoga instructor. Don't try to be a yoga instructor. Trust me, believe me, the goats will need someone managing them while the yoga is going on. You may have a couple of them that are trying to escape. You may have a couple of them that have decided that they've randomly hit puberty and they're going to pee on someone. So you as the farmer need to be there. You need to be there to manage the goats. Second thing is that we made the goat yoga work for our farm. So we decided up front that it was going to be a seasonal thing. We weren't going to do it year round, and that we're only going to do it with baby goats. And as a subsistence farm, which is what we are, one of the components of that is that we have dairy for our family. In our state, dairy is too regulated to make it worthwhile for me to try to comply with all the laws and regulations to sell any extra dairy. So there's no way that I can recoup any of the maintenance costs, medication costs, and feed costs by selling my extra dairy. So we made it work for us. We have baby goats in the spring, and we got a yoga instructor. I have a couple of friends that are yoga instructors, and they were cool with it. They were super excited. I told them if they had never heard of it to look it up. Look at some of the other links for goat yoga, And that's exactly what they did, and they were in love with it. They were super excited about it. All right, so the next thing, and I'm probably blabbering a lot, but I'm trying to make this as quick and succinct as possible. Let's see. Oh, the next thing, social media is your friend. So when you are doing agritourism, which I would classify goat yoga as agritourism, you have a younger generation and also a portion of the older generation that is very curious about life on a farm. They're very curious about a real farm. A real farm is a place where you make food, and you can look up the definition of a farm, and it's where you grow food. So people are very interested in that. They want to see, what does a modern version of a subsistence farm look like? They may not even know the word subsistence farm, but they're looking for, what does it look like for a person that is modern, that has Wi-Fi, that has a hot shower and uses a blow dryer? What does it look like for that person to grow their own food? And she needs to calm down. She's starting to pant, poor baby. I may have to put her up in a minute. So I think that's another draw, is that you've got social media. You're going to target the people that are involved in social media, and a lot of those people are nostalgic. The older people are nostalgic for just seeing that somebody is still growing their own food, and the younger people have never experienced it and literally have no idea what it would look like. So social media is your friend. Use Facebook, use Twitter, use Instagram. If you don't know how to, teach yourself. Just go online and teach yourself. That's the best thing that I can tell you. Look up videos on YouTube. I'm sure that there are some videos on YouTube that teach cool young old folks like myself how to use Instagram and Twitter. I know how to use Facebook. Instagram and Twitter is just, I just don't really get into it. But that's okay, because the clients do. I think I said it earlier, but I'm going to go back to use what you got. So if you've got goats and you're bottle feeding them, they're going to be very friendly. All of our babies are bottle fed, so they're super friendly when it comes to hanging out with people. Even so, they're going to run around, they're going to be silly, they're going to try to just go wherever. They're goats, that's what they do. And so what I have, and you'll kind of see it in the background, is electro poultry netting. It's not electrified, but it's lightweight, it's movable. I'll put a link to that in the description below. It's from Premier One, and that's what I use. I create a circle with it, and we use that for keeping the goats in one area. Hey baby, hey. The other thing is, do it when the weather is mild. If you have bad weather, you're not going to have a very good turnout. We do have an indoor space in the shop, but this can only accommodate comfortably maybe 17, 18 people. You crammed a lot of people in, maybe 23. So we've capped our class sizes at 25 people, and I found that usually anywhere between 5 to 10 people don't show up. Because of that, we use an online portal called Eventbrite to schedule our classes. So Eventbrite, there's a place where you can do a waiver, which I did. You set up the number of tickets that are for sale, and people pay in advance. They pay in advance for a ticket to come to the class, and it's non-refundable. Now, I don't promote this, but I do allow people to switch. So if they have a family emergency or something come up and they email me and they say, hey, I couldn't make it to today's class, can I come to a different class? I'll say, yeah. But I mean, you know, I take that on a case-by-case basis. If it's a family emergency, I'm obviously going to be fine with them switching to another class. You don't want to promote that, though, because people do abuse it if they know it's available. So Eventbrite takes care of credit card orders. They take care of the credit card fees. They take up all the money. You do not get paid until 5 days after the event has finished. Startup costs. Keep your startup costs low. You want to do just a few $100s, if that much. So if I was approaching this from, I want to start a goat yoga, let me go get some goats, I may be a skeptic, but I don't think it's going to be financially feasible. If you already have goats and you already have a farm and your goats are already well handled and used to people, then it's pretty easy, I think, and pretty low cost to set up a situation where you have a goat yoga. So you're going to pay your yoga instructor. Just Google online what appropriate pay for a yoga instructor is going to be. I'm not going to discuss that on YouTube because I think it's a little bit tacky, and it might be different for your area. So just Google it, see if you can get some price ranges. You're going to need to pay for some sort of fencing if you don't already have it. We did have some. I was able to purchase a larger strand once we got the goat yoga going, so that was something cool. You'll need to get mats. You will absolutely need to get yoga mats. Cheapest yoga mats I could find were at Walmart. They were $8 a piece. So for the first class, she's going TT over there. For the first class, we only had 12 people plus 2 people from the news. Every class after that was sold out for like a month and a half. So the first class wasn't that big of a deal, and by the time we had that one, and I knew that money was going to come in because my tickets were sold out, that's when I went ahead and went to Walmart, and I got enough mats for 25 people. This is goat yoga, so and you're going to have people that come just to play with the goats. They don't know anything about yoga. They've never done yoga before. You do want to provide an authentic yoga experience. You don't want it to be a petting zoo. So you want to have a mat for every person. And I found that maybe with a regular yoga session, most people bring mats. With goat yoga, it's probably only about 40% of the people bring mats. So you definitely want to have enough mats available to help everybody out. I think that covers everything. I do want to say, go back to agritourism for just a second. So goat yoga may not be your thing, but I encourage you, if you have a small farm, to think out of the box for what is something that you can provide to your community that is not already there. You're providing a unique, down-to-earth, country, fresh air experience for somebody and for your community, one that you think that your community would like. It just so happens that my community has been very supportive and has absolutely fallen in love with goat yoga. Your community may prefer something like an outside dining event, or a sort of petting zoo event, or a fall corn maze event where you can pick your own flowers. It may not be your overall goal of the farm, and it may not pay all of your farm bills, but it's a piece that can help fund some different investments on your farm and bring in a little bit of revenue. And with that, Moira would like to say goodbye, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much.